I said to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Douala, it's time for the news. We thank you so much for joining us. Our major stories right away: worldwide condemnation of the horrible incidents which happened in Cambe continues. The bishop for the Kumbu Diocese, His Lordship George Nkwo, says it's one attack too much in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon, especially in the northwest region. And political authority Honorable Ngala Gerard, on his part, calls on the people of Cambe to be strong in such moments. We bring to you their various reactions in this edition of the news. And how are the victims faring, especially those whose body parts were completely shattered after the incident in Canberra? Reporters were at the Bamenda Regional Hospital, where the wounded are receiving medical attention. Viewers, those are our major stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We begin with the war or the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. The 5 most critical cases of the February 11 explosion in Cambe in the Ndonga Mountain division of the northwest region that was on the 11th of February have been evacuated to Bamenda for emergency care. They were visited upon their arrival by the northwest governor, who also made new revelations regarding the investigations. Let's now have more with our northwest-based correspondent, Ambu Stella. She tells us more from Bamenda.
5 out of the over 80 victims of the Nkambe homemade explosion on February 11 are currently receiving urgent attention at the Bamenda Regional Hospital.
We've received from the airport, Bafut Airport, 5 most severe cases of the incident in Cambe, where we had more than 80 victims. And of these 5 cases, there are 3 female and 2 males, ranging from 12 to 18 years. And most of them have this blast injury, amputation of the limbs. So another person has 2 limbs amputated, another person has 1 limb, and another person has a blast in the face.
The prognosis of some remains uncertain as medical teams work tirelessly to stabilize them.
We assess them and make sure that they have the best medical care, the best psychological care, and also we encourage the population to continue to give them the psychosocial support.
Meanwhile, the governor of the Northwest region visited the survivors, offering words of solace and announcing significant developments in the investigation.
As of today, 4 persons has been committed into custody, and we are appealing the population to remain in calm, and all the medical team all over Norway have been mobilized to take care of the patients.
The tragic incident in Cambe has sparked widespread condemnation, with mothers protesting barefoot at the place of the incident in Cambe and diplomatic missions joining in denouncing the act. The victims are being treated in different wards at the Bamenda Regional Hospital, raising again an urgent need for the construction of the Bamenda Referral Hospital, abandoned at the foundation levels since 2017.
You said it right, Stella. Worldwide condemnation continues after the horrible incident which took place in Cambe. The bishop for Kumbu, His Lordship George Nkwo, says it is one attack too much in the northwest region of the country. Meanwhile, a political authority, Honorable Ngala Gerard, who is a member of parliament for Cambe Central, calls on the people of Cambe to stay strong during these difficult moments. Our reporter for me, Armstrong Sander, also compiles those reactions in this report.
Killed in the 11 February blast at the Cambe grandstand, 15-year-old Cherish Lemney died while seeking education.
And be merciful to your daughter Sherry, whom you have called brutally from this life.
Honorable Ngala Gerard, member of parliament for the Donga Mountain Central constituency in Cambe, received a shocking testimony from the father of Cherish Lemney Bonge.
Just because she was seeking for education. You would imagine that this child left Kumbu for Douala, and then the father thought it wise that I should bring her closer to Bui. That's why he brought her from Douala to Cambe, and she's been going around seeking for education.
Like Cherish Lemney, thousands of Anglophones displaced by insecurity study in Cambe, and the numbers keep increasing according to local authorities. Honorable Ngala Gerard regrets that some people celebrated the 11 February attack on these learners.
People whose relatives are touched, but they think that Ngala Gerard has been touched and are happy. Instead of sympathizing with the bereaved families or with the families whose children have been injured, they are instead happy that have been touched. I'm not Cambe. I'm an individual, but I work for the community.
He says others went further to link the attack to the money he shared with his constituents in Tabikane and Binka villages.
Saying that he cleared people in Cambe with money. I didn't give money to anybody in Cambe. Yeah, I did give money to people in Tabikane and Binka, and Tabikane do not attend 11 February in Cambe. I get money to people in Binka. Binka doesn't come for 11 February day in Cambe. So how do you want to put it that people who tendered in Cambe were there with cash? So I had to stand strong for them to go to school. But I don't need to do it anymore because their parents know the importance of sending their children to school now in Cambe. They know the importance of sending their children to attend UD activities. I don't need to do it.
To those in Cambe and across his Donga Mountain Central constituency, the Member of Parliament called for resilience and steadfastness. He says the outright condemnation from the President of the Republic, local organizations to diplomatic and international organizations is a sign of solidarity with the people of Cambe and the Donga Mountain Division.
And we will be coming back to that would be in the second part of the news. Meantime, we talk health. 64% of Cameroonians are yet to benefit from the universal health coverage, which was launched in Cameroon that was in the year 2023. Health experts say it is because many people are yet to understand the process of enrollment, which validates a patient's registration to the universal health coverage. Lucy Liengu is here with the details.
IV, malaria, tuberculosis, amongst others, are major health concerns in Cameroon. Most patients suffering from these diseases find it difficult to have access to healthcare services. Sometimes it is due to financial constraints. The government of Cameroon in the year 2023 launched the first phase of the Universal Health Coverage campaign, but statistics reveal that 64% of Cameroonians are yet to benefit from these. The Universal Health Coverage aims at ensuring that Cameroonians receive essential health services without having to suffer high expenses. It is therefore a daunting task for health officials who for months now have been strategizing ways to reach out to the targeted population who are children from 0 to 5 years, pregnant women, people suffering from tuberculosis, HIV patients, people with kidney failure.
La vaccination, la prise en charge des consultations et du paludisme chez l'enfant de moins de 5 ans, l'insuffisance rénale, le VIH-Sida, la tuberculose et les autres services préventifs.
Throwing more light to journalists, health officials implore the population to make use of the enrollment process.
Even in the very remote area, they can enroll. Those people at the health facility, they are trained for that. We have organized a lot of training. We are even monitoring the enrollment process in the whole region. So you can be sure that if ever you arrive at the health facility, this particular health facility cannot enroll you, there's another one who can do it.
The phase 1 of the universal health coverage is currently being implemented in the far north, Adamawa, east and south regions, with an objective of reaching out to 60% of the population before March.
And now we continue talking about the increase in fuel prices in Cameroon and the negative consequences that increase has been having on Cameroonians. The president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, Professor Maurice Kamto, attributes the fuel price increase in Cameroon to poor governance and also external influence. He wrote a missive to the head of state and demands a meeting with the International Monetary Fund resident representative in Cameroon to discuss the influence on the government vis-a-vis state subsidy. Let's now have more with Babila Jonathan.
Professor Maurice Kamto's concerns stem from the comparison between fuel prices in Cameroon and those of other countries of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community (CEMAC) under an economic adjustment program of the International Monetary Fund. 595 francs CFA per litre of super in Gabon, 570 francs CFA in Equatorial Guinea, 518 francs CFA in Chad without state subsidy. The aforementioned prices are far below those applicable in Cameroon, whose government says it is subsidizing fuel prices. It goes further with the comparison to West Africa with the example of Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's country stopped subsidizing fuel prices in the second half of 2023, but still sells a litre of super at 440 francs CFA, up from less than 200 francs CFA. The president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement (CRM) political party accuses the state of Cameroon of selling its crude oil cheaper abroad, while refined petroleum products are imported at a higher cost by traders. He highlights the fact that the increase in fuel prices is largely linked to remarks made by the International Monetary Fund head of mission for Cameroon, Semil Sankak. She said the execution of the 2023 state budget was effective thanks to increase in state revenue, but went further to indicate that state revenue was adversely affected by subventions on the prices of petroleum products, which sharply increased in 2022 and 2023. On another aspect, Professor Maurice Kamto says with 476 million litres of oil produced per month for just 80 million litres consumed, the country is able to offset imports and sell petroleum products around 400 francs CFA per litre without subsidies from the state.
In other news, residents of Yabasi in the Nkam division have expressed indignation over the high cost of transportation provoked by the bad state of the roads and the recent increase in fuel prices. They blame the council for not doing their job adequately, while calling on authorities to limit the number of heavy-duty trucks plying that stretch. Immaculate Fogwe now takes us to Yabasi.
Visiting a mechanic workshop has now become a routine for Amadou, a bike rider based in Yabasi located in the Nkam division, littoral region of Cameroon. The deplorable state of secondary roads in this area has not only affected the transport sector but also economic activities. Since morning, I have been at a mechanic workshop. Due to this situation, I can't make money. My family depends on this business for survival.
We took almost 2 hours from Bonokopa to 14 to Bonokopa. But now we are unable to take even 45 minutes to reach Yabasi from Bonokopa to Yabasi, so the road is really bad.
Locals decry the fact that the bumpy state of their roads has greatly contributed to the high rate of accidents recorded in the area. They add that despite being one of the areas with the highest rate of timber exploitation in Cameroon, the road network remains a major problem.
Parce que ces routes sont fortement détériorées par les camions.
Every day, heavy-duty trucks transporting logs of wood ply on the stretch. What is annoying is the fact that these people exploit our resources, but they don't use part of the revenue gotten to develop our area. It's really terrible.
Nos routes peuvent rester dans un état acceptable.
Several attempts to reach the mayor of the area, Eba Jean Mirabeau, were futile. The population of Yabasi are pleading with authorities to help wipe away their tears by constructing their roads and equally giving the town of Yabasi a facelift.
Cameroon's former Prime Minister Philemon Yang has earned the endorsement of the African Union as the continent's favorite and eligible candidate for the president of the 79th General Assembly of the United Nations. He was endorsed during the 44th ordinary session of the AU Executive Council in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Innocent Ase.
Prime Minister of Cameroon and the current Grand Chancellor of National Orders is set to assume the role of the next president of the 79th UN General Assembly. His impressive diplomatic experience and exceptional profile put the endorsement crown of the African Union on his head as the most suitable and reliable continental candidate, Philemon Yang was endorsed during the 44th Ordinary Session of the AU Executive Council in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Yang is running for the UN's top position under the motto of Support Intercultural Dialogue. Philemon Yang, it should be recalled, was designated by President Paul Biya. His candidacy officially presented to the diplomatic corps accredited to Yaoundé by the Minister of External Relations. The former MP was also supported by the heads of state and governments of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, during their 23rd conference in Libreville, Gabon, on July 1st, 2023. They urged the African continent to rally behind Yang's candidacy, noting he is up to the task regarding his rich profile. The multilinguist is chair of the African Union Eminent Personalities to discuss key issues on the continent. He served in the government from 1975 to 1984 and was Cameroon's ambassador to Canada from 1984 to 2004. He was Assistant Secretary General of the Presidency with the rank of Minister from 2004 to 2009. From June 30, 2009 to January 4, 2019, he served as Prime Minister. Philemon Yang had also joined the Commonwealth of Nations in 1995, earning him the title Commissioner. It is worth noting, the President of the 79th UN General Assembly will begin his term in office on September 24, 2024 to September 24, 2025.
And the African Union leaders begin their annual summit today. Meanwhile, Pope Francis, the Holy Father, has described the war in Gaza as carnage, which has been creating tension among protesters. Meanwhile, in Senegal, internet connection has been suspended following pre-election protests. Let's now have more on our foreign page roundup with Mala Glory.
African leaders will gather in Addis Ababa, home of the African Union, this Thursday for the Continental Body's annual summit. And the AU Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Muhammad says top on the agenda will be regional integration and maintaining momentum in addressing issues of peace and security. Last month, Muhammad addressed a pre-summit session of the AU's Permanent Representative Committee, stressing the importance of continent-wide solidarity and unity. Citing conflicts in Sudan and Chad, he also called for a humanitarian ceasefire to end the war in Gaza. And elsewhere, Israel protested with the Vatican on Wednesday after Pope Francis, a deputy, defined what is happening in Gaza as carnage resulting from a disproportionate Israeli military response to Hamas. A Wednesday editorial in the Vatican's official newspaper, L'Osservatore Romano, reinforced the message. He said no one can define what is happening in Gaza Strip as collateral damage in the fight against terrorism. The right to defense, Israel's right to bring the perpetrators of the October massacre to justice, cannot justify this carnage. And over to Senegal, amidst the political turmoil in the country, a pivotal lawsuit is unfolding. Media personnel and legal minds have taken a stand against the government's internet shutdowns in June, July and August 2023. These blackouts were a response to protests against the conviction of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, resulting in the restriction of major social media platforms and mobile internet service. The lawsuit argues that these shutdowns violated freedom of expression and media freedom rights, casting a shadow over the democracy and human rights in Senegal.
And that report by Mala Glory brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Talking Points comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. Today we are going back to discuss what happened in Gambia. That was on the 11th of February. And the MP for Gambia Central, Ngala Gerard, was there when it happened. So he's our guest on Talking Point tonight. Honorable Ngala Gerard, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Now, you are the MP for Nkambe Central. We begin by condoling with you for the unfortunate incident which happened on the 11th of February. It happened in your presence. Now, can you tell us what you saw and heard on that fateful day, considering the fact that so many persons say you lured people to coming to the ceremonial ground with money?
Thanks for having me here in Douala. I just came back from Nkambe this morning, and I want to make it crystal clear that it's a common practice for me to make trips to Nkambe as a parliamentarian from Nkambe. But I will tell you that since the advent of the Anglophone crisis, I've been evaluating and encouraging parents and students to go to school, and I think I did that knowing very well that they were being misled. I did that from the beginning of the crisis. And at one point that we do, even in business, I'm a businessman, we hand responsibilities to people when we think we have shown them the route. That is exactly what I did right up to 2021, when I told them why is that the parents that in Nkambe should understand that it is important for their children to go to school. Because the most reason he wasn't seeing me again championing or asking people to go to school, because they now understood the importance. We had to do it at the beginning, and we did it. So for someone to say that I'm luring people to go to school to for youth day activities with cash, it's just a blackmailing, or call it trying to tarnish the image of somebody. Because first of all, when we talk about sharing money, we were attacked in Nkambe by terrorists on the 11th of February. As a politician, I go to the field and I have different class of followers. We have followers that want development. We have followers that only want to enjoy themselves. We want those who want roads. We want those who want boreholes. We want those who want to have fun. You have to make sure that as a politician you satisfy those different classes of people. And you will understand that even those that we assisted with cash, also most of them also benefited from different projects that we've done in villages. So I mean, it is just crazy for somebody to think that you have to lure somebody in Nkambe or in Nkambe Central Subdivision to go for 11th February, because that hasn't been the case. I wasn't in Nkambe for Youth Day last year, and there was massive attendance. I was not there, for God's sake. I went to the village, I went to Nkambe, I went to other villages, and while discussing people, I decided to give them small financial assistance in the form of cash. And that wasn't in Nkambe. I was in Tabike, I gave them cash at the market in Tabike, and Tabike do not attend 11th February in Nkambe. So how do you want to put it that people who attended in Nkambe were there with cash? I didn't give money to anybody in Nkambe, but I assisted a lot of projects in Nkambe and other places. I gave money to people in Binka. Binka doesn't come for 11th February day in Nkambe. So people who are saying this have a reason for saying that. And I understand as a politician that I have people who are trying to seek position, but trying to seek position by trying to lie and tarnish other people's image is not the way that I got to Parliament. I got to Parliament by working with the grassroots, by trying to change lives, like I do all the time. If you are talking about sharing money and giving human assistance, I do that here in Douala. I do it in Douala. I don't stand for elections in Douala. But if you come from a background where I come from, if you come from a poor background where I come from, and you know the importance of receiving from somebody, and you happen to make it in life to a certain extent, you will know the importance of giving back to the community. You will know the importance of helping the community. When I was growing up, harvesting coffee, selling kola nuts, I could imagine somebody giving me 1,000 francs. I know how much joy I would live for a certain time, enjoying that money or just being happy. So I know how much how much joy it gives people when they receive, because I've gone through that. Some people live or grow through their comfort zone and cannot understand the importance of giving back to the community.
And now, Honorable, you are now in Douala, but you were in Nkambe, like I earlier indicated, when that explosion happened. So what was your reaction when that incident took place? Panic-stricken, fear, or you succeeded in keeping your calm?
when the incident happened on the 11th of February, that was a Sunday, the authorities thought that I would be attacked, that I should leave Kambe immediately, and then they should fly me out of Kambe. I said, no, I will not leave in Kambe. I have to reassure my people. I stayed in Kambe 3 days after the attack before leaving Kambe, because you would see in videos that we had to condemn this. We had to do traditional, join our fathers to do traditional right, talk to the people, reassure them that this will never happen again. Security measures have been taken, and I had to stay there for the next 3 days to assure my people. If it was about me, I would have left the very day. But no, I cannot. I couldn't. So there is no magic. That is why I find it funny for somebody to think that you have to learn somebody in Kambe for you to go for an February day. Like I told you, I've not been in Kambe for the past 2 youth day activities, youth day celebrations, but they have been successful. So why will I go back this year and learn people? What happened last year? Who led them last year? Why were they celebrating last year? Was Galajera in Kambe? No, I wasn't in Kambe. But it doesn't stop me from going to Kambe to celebrate with them each time I feel like I should, and each time I'm free.
Now, Mr. Honorable, we know that Kambe has been experiencing relative calm over the years, even in the depths of the crisis. Surprisingly, such an attack has never happened in Kambe, an attack of that magnitude. What do you think really went wrong this time around? Was there a loophole or some loopholes which the attackers took advantage of?
You know, for the incident that happened in Kambe is just an eye-opener for us. We've been having threats for the past 7 years because of our stand for peace. And I believe that that will not change anything in Kambe, because the parents are more determined than ever before to get their children going to school. But I feel sorry for the families that were affected. I feel sorry for the Nous family from Bui, whose daughter was killed just because she was seeking for education. You would imagine that this child left Kumbu for Douala, and then the father thought it wise that I should bring her closer to Bui. That's why he brought her from Douala to Kambe, and she's been going around seeking for education. And you think that somebody should not encourage his children to go to school? It's just absurd. There are people who are happy, people whose relatives are touched, but they think that Galajera has been touched and are happy. Instead of sympathizing with the bereaved families or with the families whose children have been injured, they are instead happy that have been touched. I'm not Kambe. I'm an individual, but I work for the community. You cannot in all your senses be thinking that you should be happy, whereas these children, the families are crying in pains. Instead of supporting and giving a helping hand to these families, some people are on social media thinking that the good thing for them to do is that if they are Galajera will touch. In what way? I'm only touched because I know those families have been touched.
And now, as a prominent political figure in Kambe, how do you and the local authorities intend to proceed with other activities after the recent attack? Will you still want the people to continue putting their lives on the fence?
Ask that question if we were going to continue living and celebrating the way we did before. I would want to answer you by saying that it's like you want me to live the life of others, because others who are either envy or jealous of my personality will want me to live their life. It means that they want to cage me. You want to cage Galajera. You don't want me to give out to the poor, because that is what, if you want to understand the sense they're saying, it means that I should live their life. I shouldn't give out, because somebody who doesn't have the means, some who have the means but don't have the attitude of giving, will be attacking me. But that is not me. Like I told you, I come from a very poor background. I happen to have worked hard in life to have what God has blessed me with, and I feel obliged to help the community. Nothing will relent us from the activities that were happening before. They will continue. Children are already back in school, going to school. Parents are already ready to die for their children and get them educated. If you can understand what I told you about the little girl who died, the father was running with her from Bui to Douala, 2021. Douala to Kambe, because he was seeking education for that child. That's the importance of education. That you will understand why I had to fight for those children to go to school. But I get the responsibility, I handed over the responsibility to them come 2021, because I already opened the eyes and they took the responsibility with other elite. It's not about me alone, with other elite of good faith. Because we have other elite of bad faith who would want that those children don't go to school because they think that they're hating Galajera. In what way?
Thank you, Honorable Ngala Gerard, for those clarifications. Thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight, and hope to have you some other time. Viewers, thank you so much for being there. Don't go away, our programs continue. As usual, Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.